If there are any among this people who should ever apostatize, prepare your backs for a good whipping.
We should also install protections against spiritual threats. Protections like filters on internet connections and locating access so others can see what is being viewed.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. This video is an indirect video in relation to the month of Kislev videos that I've been doing for you all this December Kislev concerning prostitution, sex trafficking by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The abomination of desolation, as the Jews called it, and the Greeks did it to the Jerusalem temple. Instead, this is a I told you so video. Mosiah 29. Verse 21, and behold, now I say unto you, you cannot dethrone an iniquitous king, save it be through the much contention and shedding of much blood. Though the Syrian rebels did record-breaking time in overthrowing the Syrian government, power to the people. You go, guys. It was awesome. For behold, he has his friends in iniquity. He keepeth his guards about him, and he teareth up the laws of those who have reigned in righteousness before him. And he trampleth under his feet the commandments of God. No, we're not talking about Trump, but yes, it does apply, doesn't it? I warned you. It's an I told you so video. You didn't believe. You know, the devil never supports his own. Trump often repeated the poem about the snake and the little girl. He's talking about himself as the snake, not the little girl. That's Rudy Giuliani. If you knew that it was gross and disgusting video coverage. And he enacteth laws, sendeth them forth among the people, yea, laws after the manner of his own wickedness. Whosoever did not obey his laws, he causeth to be destroyed. And whosoever doth rebel against him, he will send his armies against them to war. Yes, this is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Spoiler alert. And if he can, he will destroy them, and thus An unrighteous king doth pervert the ways of all righteousness. In 2021, after the October conference, for which I had previously been shut down by YouTube for a false claim, and found from the news that a leaked membership directory of the secret combination of the United States of America in the United States of America to overthrow the United States of America was found. And I did the videos exposing that the church had a representative to do the church's will to run this corporation, this secret combination. It's Mark Skousen currently, as Cleon Skousen was previously from the original outset of the corporation in 1981. And so I've been doing the videos since then of those who are found in the membership who are involved in the overthrow of our government. Kellyanne Conway, Leonard Leo, and Steve Bannon, and the Heritage Foundation, the Religious Freedom Movement people, the Project 2025 people. Are they the Heritage Foundation, or are they the other one, but which is also in the membership? But don't memorize, it's associative memory. I've done the videos. And so then I did my conference video, which was already sabotaged for the low views on purpose, to prevent me from getting attention, viewership, because conference is my big time of the year. Times. And so after conference, knowing about this secret combination and the church's direct involvement, knowing Mormon doctrine as we are taught, having that been my major focus of study since childhood, the latter days, as we are told, the second coming of Jesus. So I knew of the myth of the government hanging by a thread, and the myth of Adam-on-Diamon's priesthood meeting, but I couldn't find the source until after conference 2021. The Way to Perfection, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. And in there he goes over in summation detail the coup attempt by this church to overthrow our government and all governments worldwide. And it wouldn't be until earlier this year, when I got a hold of Oakes's confession to Las Vegas missionaries. It was never supposed to be leaked. It got leaked because the sister missionary recorded him confessing that sure enough, they rigged the 2016 election. They purposely rigged the 2020 election for the sole purpose of rigging the 2024 election, which he called the second coming of Jesus. The mass extermination of humans and the coups of government. I'd already done the research on church history origins of the Danites from the Illuminati. I've been doing the videos for you. Like I said, this is an I told you so video. After doing the videos on this, I then was destroyed. Just like the passage in the Book of Mormon, Mosiah 29 said. They had had enough of me. I I got fed up. And so I began seeing Metro security hanging out at my bus stop, spying on me. Metro security was used at the Taylorsville Temple as it was being built, after especially the incident where there was an intruder on the grounds caught on camera. And so, as one who knows to watch for patterns of behavior, to watch for patterns of practice, to look for patterns of evidence, to develop theories and run tests, I was then presented with how I can find lasting happiness. Come unto Christ.org. A little missionary card. And if you don't understand, the missionaries here in Salt Lake, and specifically at that bus stop, only take the bike. They do not take a bus. Their area is a specific location, and they take bikes. They do not take the bus, because they don't need to travel that far. It costs money for the bus. It does not cost money for the bikes, assuming that it's a bike fleet. But nonetheless, won't get into that discussion from my mission. God, I lost 50 pounds. And I was a fit, athletic kid at his perfect weight when I went in the mission. For me to lose 50 pounds, yeah, it's summed up by my mom, who said, "You look so thin, I was scared." And yet the church tells me I'm supposed to praise my mission experience and not criticize it. So yes, I am a critic, because I do videos about the Jewish Joseph Smith and the Jewish Book of Mormon, trying to get you guys to understand the church by claiming to be Christian, claiming Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon Christian, are liars, pants on fires. You're being deceived and conned, unless you know, and then you're maliciously evil with them. They get their members to commit crimes, not just their friends, enacting laws upon Mormons. And so I'm here as a result of that incident. It took some time as they tried to assassinate me. They set up Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking to murder me first. And then I wasn't supposed to get this place, and they did everything they could and failed to keep me hostage, and thus 2 girls got fired. They were destroyed for their failure. I've seen this numerous times over the years, ever since I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, and F. Michael Watson, secretary to Gordon B. Hinckley, had ordered my full stake presidency and full bishopric to excommunicate me for deciphering Paleo-Hebrew and showing that Joseph Smith is a translator. I didn't understand what was going on. I was too naive. And so, the church continued to destroy me. even though they failed to excommunicate me. And so, I filed a petition for redress of grievances in 2008, as I saw the lying in wait, setting things up to trap me. And the dumbass cop that was sitting in the back seat trying to get me to violate my Miranda rights that I was adhering to. I mean, I have the right, but apparently they do all they can to violate them. They didn't want to give me my rights. But he was saying, "So did you think we were coming to get you?" And yet that's exactly what they did. Dumbass. And so, yeah, 6 years of my life for filing a petition for redress of grievances. They called it a terroristic attack, because I'm a terrorist. And that petition for a redress of grievances, which, if you don't understand the wording, you've never read your Constitution in the First Amendment. Again, they go contrary to the laws of the land. And I was indefinitely incarcerated. There was no hearings, there were no trials, no judgments, no sentencing. Indefinitely detained to be murdered. And so that's how I got to live with Brian David Mitchell, Curtis Allgaier, Easy. Easy should be out by now. What are you up to, Easy? What are you doing? Are you dead? Are you back in prison? He provided me with the paper so that I can work on the game that I finally figured out and invented. The board game. It was a Civilization board game. I would go on to publish a branch off of it called Millennial Zion, something like that. Civilization, Zion Civilization, something like that. It was one of the books that I thought might be more family friendly after being told by the, don't even get me going, by false friends. But yeah, this is what Mormons do. They pretend to be your friend until you become critical of the church. And then the church's orders on Mormons then are activated, just like Oaks on Sunday. He says that we need to love everybody, be welcoming and kind to everybody, unless they violate our standards and values. Oh my God. Oh my God. But that's been a conundrum that I've seen in myself as a kid and among other peers growing up in the church, is people are confused. You have Mormons who make the choice between the two, but there's still that conflict as the one group condemns the other group and back and forth. And God. Anyway. And so last year, after getting into this apartment, my brother attacked me. It was a full-on attack. Not just to keep me in the shelter, but also other ways to silence my voice, because that's what was being done. All of the attacks on me are because of my videos on YouTube. This is why YouTube is committing cyber terrorism against me because there's a Mormon plant in the employment of YouTube. Church has their specific agents in various places. And so my brother, in his attack on me, told his lawyer that he had to pay $2,000 to. My brother had to pay. He was being forced to sue me. He had to pay the $2,000 retainer because the church threatened his job. And the lawyer never did protect him. They just dropped the case. My brother's out $2,000. This is how evil the church is. And so I would tell you in my videos about YouTube, about the patterns. And so for the last 28 days, the elderly, 65 and older, are the ones who are the majority of my viewers. As both men and women watch close enough to the same for the last 28 days. And those who are in the age category above me to 64 years of age. But only the men. The women are less than half for the last 28 days. And then about half the size of my generation are watching me. And then it's even less, but it's men at the lower ages. 18 to 24, they don't watch. And YouTube forced me to say my content is not for kids. And so it's specifically kept from the 17 belows. So the last 90 days, men are still way up at the top, the elderly men. Women die down. The age group above me, the men are still high. And the women are way down. And then so on. Men are the dominant ones. Women typically don't come to my videos to watch my content. And it's sad because the women are the ones that I'm trying to rescue the most. And women are in a religious abusive relationship and are protecting their religious abusers. This is what it means. Just like in a domestic relationship where there's domestic abuse by the husband. The women blame themselves. They say, well, he's just misunderstood. He didn't mean to beat me again. This is how the church and their patriarchal abuse reveals itself on my analytics page. The elderly women, they know and understand what I'm talking about. So you can see where the church has been able to deceive the younger generations of women with the changes, which are not really changes, they're diversionary tactics away from the still causation that exists. This is still the knife. The elderly know what I'm talking about. And so for a year, yeah, still the same. Men dominate watching my channel as women get lower. And so I would tell you in my videos that I'm being spied upon, and would joke about those working in the church office building, which are of the general authorities, who are reporting and narking on me to Nelson and the 12, the corporate board. See, I already figured it out, but I didn't have the documents, whether the way to perfection, the secret combination, Oakes's leaked confession. So, guess what I found? Guess what I found? Yet again. Last night, I received an email, and in that email was a video link to a Mormon who's suing the church because his membership was not removed. He asked to have his name taken off the records of the church, and they didn't do it. And so when he ran the test, he found out he still had a membership number and was able to get his patriarchal blessing, which I'm now being cyber attacked. Dear God, this is part of it. The cyber attacks that I've been going through, the freezing of the camera, yeah, it's a person who's sending the signal to my system. I've already done the pattern matching. I know the patterns. And so the cyber terrorist attacks that I had this year, as what is this year? What is the significance? Remember, this video was going to be an I told you so video rather than a what? Thus the escalation of attacks on me. See, Mormons have no problem protecting a criminal operator, criminal crime boss. But the one who needs protecting, where are you guys? He said in his video that there was a strengthening church members committee. And then he jovially laughed it off and said he was lying to us. But I checked him. Sure enough, Wikipedia, Strengthening Church Members Committee. The Strengthening Church Members Committee is a committee of general authorities working from the church office building. I told you I can see their habits. I see when they put the thumbs down, when they don't put the thumbs down. I see when they cyber attack me and when they don't cyber attack me. I see when they go to church. I see when they go to the Thursday meeting to report on me. I see when the Mormon employee starts his shift. I see when he ends. I see when he goes on vacation. I see when he has church or when he doesn't have church and skips it. I see these patterns. Mormons have a traditional cultural practice that is unique from the rest of the world. And so I know It's Mormons attacking me. General authorities are of my age and above, until 70. Thus why those are the higher viewership on my channel. I got them. I already knew it, but now it's an established fact. Multiple confirmations establishing fact. Now we just need one of them to leak it. Like Oaks did. Who monitor the publications of its members for possible criticism of general and local leaders. See, I thought it was strange. My bishop told me that he doesn't watch my channel. And then, that fateful day, he said he watched my channel. And told me to take down my video on this channel about Adam fell that man might be, that comes from the Egyptian documents. The Book of Mormon is said to be Egyptian. So we should expect to find the stories in the Book of Mormon, the doctrines in the Book of Mormon, in the Egyptian documents. Adam fell. Do I need to keep repeating that a billion times until it finally clicks into your brain what's missing or who's missing? Do I need to go to section 39 or 29? I think it'd be 29. Apparently, they're attacking my scriptures. It's not wanting to load as normally as it would. Unbelievable. It is not wanting to come up. See, this is a crime. They're committing a crime against me right now, live, during this recording. It's not wanting to come up. And so, yeah, verse 36 and 40, and I think 29, in which Lucifer is before Adam and tempts Adam, and Adam falls. That is our doctrine. And yet, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the prophets, say Eve is responsible. Eve's to blame. The woman. Just like Paul's redactor and the mistranslation of Genesis. And so he says, why do you bother coming to church if you're going to go against the prophets? Excuse me? If the prophets are going against the Book of Mormon, the prophets are in the wrong. The Book of Mormon is our keystone. The prophets have to obey the Book of Mormon. They don't get to create doctrine contrary to it. You know, like section 119. And so I no longer attend a church because of his threat, which I told him to leave me alone. I've got family issues that I'm dealing with. He wouldn't leave me alone. It was this committee that told him about my video. It was this committee that told my brother about that video, about him. They're the ones who are ordered by the church, who report to the church to do all of the crimes that they're committing. They monitor, they spy, and they lie in wait to cause harm. See, here it only talks about apostasy resulting in excommunication. And so, remember I told you so? When somebody gets interviewed by John DeLynn, soon thereafter they're excommunicated. This committee. They are using John DeLynn to find apostates and excommunicate them. So, Little Nemo, Jeremy Runnels, Natasha Helfer, yep, that committee reported on all of them because they got interviewed on John DeLynn. Way to go, John. Dumbass. So it was created under President Ezra Taft Benson soon after he became president. In 1986, you dumbasses. So it was before his April conference when he was given the solemn assembly. And so he immediately takes over after the death of Kimball. That's the only thing I can assume here. Otherwise I can check online, but that's not needed. Because I saw that with Nelson when Monson was on his deathbed. They changed things while Monson was on his deathbed. Nelson, as the president of the 12, was doing things without Monson's approval because he's on his deathbed. And they were forging signatures of Monson to get it all done. Because this is a corporation. The CEO is the one in charge, not the president of the 12. Has to wait until the CEO is dead. And he wasn't. He was doing stuff without authority to do so. So 11-year-old girls in the temple, that was Nelson, not Monson. So the existence of the committee became known in 1991, when a 1990 church memo from General Authority Glenn L. Pace referencing the committee was published. Gotta watch out for those leakers. The committee was one of the subjects discussed in the 1992 Sunstone Apostasy Symposium. In talks by Lavina Fielding Anderson, one of the September 6, and Eugene England, then a BYU professor, on August 6th, interesting, 1992, interesting, very, very interesting. Soon thereafter, that has trauma in my life. Soon thereafter, the Salt Lake Tribune, back when they weren't owned and operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, published news stories on the subject. England came to regret his comments and apologized. Of course he did, to all party individuals. Because he was threatened. His job is on the line, right, Avraham Gileadi? Right, all of September 6th, not just Avraham and Lavina. So in response to this public discourse, the LDS church spokesman, Don Lefevre, acknowledged the committee's existence. Lefevre. I've been out of French for far too long. said that the committee receives complaints from church members about other members who have made statements that conceivably could do harm to the church. If somebody is doing harm to the church, you contact the police or the FBI, as the FBI steps in for any and all religious matters. You know, the First Amendment. If it's not a threat and it's just a criticism, church has to let it go. Get over it. Deal with it. Allow Mormons to see you for who you are, rather than covering up your crimes and sins. Amen. You guys do know what I'm referring to. Give you a hint, section 121. Apparently I can't look it up now. All women in the church know it, as well as all men, because every priesthood meeting was on that scripture. It was our chant. Women had, "We are daughters of a Heavenly Father who love us, and we love Him, and we are in the similitude of being raped by our Heavenly Father." Whereas men, the powers of heaven are as soon as we begin to exercise unrighteous dominion, amen. And so, however, the committee neither makes judgments nor imposes penalties. I call BS. But again, it shows they report to the corporate board. And the corporate board tells them what to do, to contact the church leaders and to impose the penalties for that, as I have been a victim of this. My bishop in West Valley City wanted me out of the church unless I pulled down that video that showed the Book of Mormon was true, that the doctrine of Joseph Smith is true, had to be taken down as false. I was being threatened. Why in 2017 would I be threatened? Actually, 2018. The same month that she officially canceled the marriage. See, I know what's happening to me, but people try to gaslight me, to cover it up and hide their secret combination against me. I know I've been abused, and yet people try to vilify me as the one responsible. For doing what? That Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are true. That's my punishment? That YouTube is cyber terrorizing me because I talk about the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith as Jewish? See, this is why the church does blacklisting. They've tried it on porn sites. They failed. And now they're trying it on social media channels, and they're failing. But this committee is the spy agency. And they report to the corporate board, what would you like us to do? Get them. So, I've been making a list of all the things connected with it. Let's go over it and see which ones I missed. The changes on Wikipedia. This committee. They're the ones who are purposely putting out the misinformation and disinformation on Wikipedia. That's why you can never get the right answer on Wikipedia. And that's why also after I expose information found on Wikipedia, that then I go back after I do my video, it's gone and changed. You know, like Brigham Young. Is he the first or the second president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? It was a huge scandal. The porn blacklisting, the thumbs downer. Yeah, every single video, they put a thumbs down. They purposely come to the video to put a thumbs down. He's a committee member. He's a general authority being told to commit crimes against me. These men are criminals being ordered by the board of directors to commit crimes against me and against anybody else. These are people who have no honor, no integrity. They know they are committing crimes. They know the church is criminal, and they're still doing it. That's why James J. Homula, I did the videos. James J. Homula was asked to do a favor, though, and he said no. Ta-da. You guys do not do your research and study. And yet too many people think that I'm making this stuff up. So I'm getting all riled up and I'm starting to get the hiccups. And so the cyber terrorism attack, again, you witnessed it. I'm going over the video, exposing them, and they're still doing it. They're not going to stop. They have to be stopped. And our government's not doing it. I've reported this to the government. They're not doing their job. Last night, local news reported the FBI in Utah and the Department of Homeland Security are now arrested for drug trafficking. So that's why there's so many drugs flowing through Utah? Mormons in the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security? Interesting. Now, do you understand the sex trafficking and prostitution? There's a whole criminal operation going on in the state of Utah. Threatening my brother, YouTube, Google, Microsoft, church's major stockholders, they've got their people in positions. The hate comments and the death threats and the false testimonials. Yep. Committee members creating fake channels. Yep. Gotcha, guys. So yeah, whenever they try to hold me hostage and kidnap me, indefinitely incarcerate me, I'm a religious captive, a religious prisoner. You know, just like Gandhi. Do you not understand? I am the religious leader of the Jewish Joseph Smith and Book of Mormon. This church is doing all they can to hurt me, to silence me. This is beyond a religious hate crime. This is a religious terrorist hate crime. Computer hacking, freezing of the camera, Sunday patterns, Thursday patterns, church office building, employees, Christmas, yeah, I noticed Christmas devotional from Saturday night till after the devotional. I was free at last, no harassments. West Valley City with the landlord or the property manager. She was ordered to murder me. And so I went that whole summer without my air conditioning getting fixed because it was layered with mold. And they gaslit me. Said, no, you don't have a mold problem. Yeah, I do. I had the evidence. All they had to do was check. They didn't want to check. They ignored it. So I went the whole summer, which was record-breaking summer heat for that year, without an air conditioning unit. They jeopardized my computer systems to prevent me from doing videos. You see the evil of this church? I got them. This is the Holy Grail. This is the missing link. I already knew it, but here it is in a document form. This is the church exposed as a criminal operation, specifically targeting me to murder me, to shut me up. When I was indefinitely incarcerated in 2008, the church, through this committee, ordered the Deseret News to delete all my comments. And so you can only find out about me if one of the people who responded to my comment put my name in. And there were two. One was on R-rated movies, and the other was on the Hubble telescope, concerning the Big Bang. I was pointing out that everybody is illiterate, did not read the ensign of Benson's To the Youth of the Noble Birthright, where he didn't say we can't watch all rated R movies, only those that are. And then he reaffirmed the Article of Faith number 13 near the end of his talk, where anything that is beautiful, lovely, of good report, or praiseworthy, we seek after these things. So if an R-rated movie fits in that category, boom, we can watch it. So if there's a woman in there, she's obviously beautiful, lovely, of good report, and praiseworthy. I, as a member of the church, believing in Joseph Smith and the Article of Faith number 13, will seek after her. But yes, the church wants to distract you away from their crimes of prostitution and sex trafficking, when pornography was an evangelical creation, which porn, from the Greek, is prostitute for the temple, for the abomination of desolation. See, I can tie it all together, but. And so, yeah, the bus driver from that bus stop, he was the regular driver at the time when I went to go to that area. He then started to attack me to keep me off his bus. And the death threat from the way to perfection, Metro Temple security. And so, yeah, they control everybody. This is why the government won't take down the church, because the church's committee keeps them in line. They monitor all government. Every legislative decision, don't go against the church. The press, don't go against the church. Don't you investigate us. Now they own the Salt Lake Tribune. And so businesses in Utah. The guy who did the video that I talked about, who's suing the church for not taking out his membership name, American Membership Records, he talked about calling the legal firm, talking to a woman he said was Bree. I hope he recorded it, because Bree threatened him, saying that if he has his name removed, he won't receive the blessings, and he'll be fired, and he'll be excommunicated, and he won't go to heaven, the celestial kingdom. He'll lose his family. Mormons will attack him. I hope he recorded that. He should have. He's got legal experience. He thinks he's the only pro se litigant against the church. Oopsie. Oopsie. So yeah, the general authorities, these guys know they are evil. They know they are committing crimes. And those in government know they are committing crimes, compromised to the church with tithing, and being involved in prostitution and potentially sex trafficking of their wives. This is a criminal organization. This is what they do, and they're doing it to a T. And it controls the whole state of Utah, and they're trying to branch out. They're obtaining as much property as they can. They're collecting as much money as they can to hoard it for the sole purpose of overthrowing the government and then taking over. So yeah, we'll put in Oakes's counter-terrorism clip, cyber-terrorism clip. The law codes for Utah on this. We'll bring those up for you. The espionage and censorship in the state of Utah is 18 USC, or that's the federal one, isn't it? Yeah, federal. I'd have the Utah ones for prostitution and sex trafficking. Like I said, I can do it for every single member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Utah. Not just the Attorney General and his wife, the elect. And so I can do it for the police chief of Salt Lake City. I can do it for Governor Cox. I can do it for every single member of the legislature who's Mormon. Every business owner. All of you are guilty of crime. And those in government are required to report this church and prosecute them. Execute the law that was made and prosecute them. Every judge compromised, committing crimes to protect the church, as this committee keeps them in line. That's why when I was suing the church, pro se, I saw the lawyers threaten the judge. Your Honor, there's nothing here. Get 'em. This is what the church does. It was the church who ordered and rewarded for my indefinite incarceration in 2008. I've got all the documents. I've got all the recordings. I've got all the receipts. I know the whole history. And so for the lying in wait, that involves homicide, because they've been trying to murder me. Even though they failed, it's still an attempted murder. So 18 USC, chapter 51, homicide. Lying in wait is a part of that. An attempted murder, lying in wait, is equal to the actual crime itself. So the espionage and citizenship, this is the committee. They're purposely spying as I'm revealing the national security threat as a religious leader, and thus they are the terrorist organization that they falsely accused me of for simply filing my petition for redress of grievances in the state of Utah. Alrighty? I've reported this to my government. The church must fall. And it needs to be soon.